Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for the Instagram for Business webinar. I apologize for the late start, but we're ready to get going here. Our presenter today is Nicole Siscaretti. Nicole is a digital entrepreneur. She writes a Disney and Orlando themed travel blog. It's called sparklyeverafter.com with a corresponding Etsy shop. Nicole loves using her personal projects to try creative social media marketing strategies and teaching online. So Nicole, we're ready for you whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to be here and to be talking with you about Instagram. It's sort of been a little gold mine that I just stumbled upon. I really enjoyed it as a user, and as I started to turn things that I did online into my business, Instagram sort of started to go that way as well. So I do use it as a fun, profile and account, but it has also become part of my business. So I blog, as Leslie said. I blog at sparklyeverafter.com, and I share Disney and Orlando photos and tips for theme parks and stuff like that. And I'm telling you that because Instagram has become an extension of my blog. I've found that as soon as I started to monetize it, which I've done in the past year or so, I have been able to get more traffic to the blog, which accumulates to more money, and also with the shop, which is instantly recognizable as another income source. So it's been a wonderful tool to grow my business when it comes to keeping people around, finding new people that are potential customers, and I enjoy it so much because it's like a little piece of art in the square every time. So I started on Instagram December 19th, 2010, and the thing that I love about it is I'm kind of a person that doesn't love change in all situations. The thing that I've loved about Instagram from the beginning is that the photos that you share are shaped in a square. It had just a few filters on the bottom, which is like a layer of color and light that allows you to change how the image looks. And until just recently, there wasn't a whole lot of options when it came to editing your photos on Instagram itself. So it's really lets you put the creativity into the photo every time, and allows you to grow and change in that way instead of always adapting to the platform itself, as Facebook keeps us on our toes and even Twitter does nowadays. So what I've found Instagram to be different for, it's so much easier to be seen. The users post less frequently, and your posts are seen more because of it. So we know that on Facebook we have that algorithm, that equation that Facebook decides what photos and links and status updates that we'll see from our friends and the business pages that we've liked. And Instagram is not known to have that sort of equation that decides what we're going to see. So if an average user follows maybe 100 accounts, and each account or person that's using Instagram posts one photo that day, it is possible that you could see, if you kept up throughout the day, the photo from every person that you're following. So Instagram isn't going to decide what you see or what your followers see. So I have heard within the last month or so, and I can't confirm this, but Instagram supposedly has started to do some sort of picking and choosing when it comes to what users are seeing from who they're following. If a user follows a great deal of accounts, but I haven't read anything official from Instagram, so as of right now, you will see everything from everyone that you're following. So that's really great, considering that that other platforms like Facebook are asking us to pay to put our content in front of the people that we've paid to get to like our page. So while I certainly wouldn't replace other social media platforms with Instagram, I definitely commend it for allowing us to reach more users. And as much as I do love Twitter, it can be really saturated because the average Twitter user, let's say you're watching a show and following along and tweeting in a hashtag, you may have 15 to 20 tweets in an hour pertaining to that topic. And Instagram is a little bit different because each photo is sort of crafted to be a representation of, more than just one moment. You wouldn't Instagram so many photos at a time. It's more of a, the average user just doesn't post as much. So I've seen on Instagram users typically follow fewer accounts. I've found that it's been too hard to keep up following too many myself, and I carefully choose who to follow based upon what I want to see every day. So if you are able to make those connections and get in front of those users, which is something that we'll talk about in this course, it's more likely that you'll be seen because people do tend to follow less on Instagram. Now, there is sort of a magic trick that happens on Instagram when it comes to hashtags. When I first started, I've actually been documenting from 3,500 followers, which I particularly remember because it was on my birthday last year, to I recently just reached over 5,000. And I've sort of been keeping track of that whole time, where my new followers came from and where people were finding me and what techniques were working to get more people aware of my brand and my business through Instagram. And one thing that really worked for me in the beginning especially was engaging with hashtags. So I would go into a hashtag relative to my business. So for example, I really love Disney, and that's what my blog's about. I would spend a lot of time in certain Disney hashtags, engaging with other photos. Now, I choose to combine my Instagram, like sort of the personal side, and the business side. So I share all of those things on Instagram. It's definitely public, and it's definitely always appropriate and things that I want to share with this mass audience that's following me. But I do not have a separate Instagram just for my blog or just for my Etsy shop. I made the bold choice to combine them, and we'll definitely talk about in this course the benefits and the cons of that, and different kinds of content to produce in that sort of scenario, and then also in specific business-only accounts. So, but from my sort of mixed account, I've been able to go into hashtags and just like someone else's photo that I think has something in common with the message that I'm putting out. Perhaps they're a Disney fan, or I also share a lot of positive stuff. I'm into leading a happy life, so also glitter. I love glittery things and sparkly things. So those are all sort of things that are related to my brand, and in the beginning I would go into hashtags a lot and just engage with other people who were talking about these kinds of things. They're putting photos into these sort of hashtags, and a lot of the time someone would come back and then like my photos and then sometimes follow me. So I was able to find great accounts to follow this way, and a lot of people found me this way as well. So hashtags have made a great deal of difference when it comes to posting and searching. I make sure to include specific hashtags on my photos as well as going in them, and reciprocating the love on other people's photos. So in this course we're going to talk about some key components to reaching success with Instagram marketing. So in Unit 1 we'll talk about setting up a profile that is well-rounded. It has a good photo that people can associate with your brand, and including all the components that you need, making sure that if you put a bio there or a tagline, it's something that's going to catch someone's eye. For example, if you are posting and you're including hashtags and somebody runs across your photo and then they come to see what your business is about, we want to make sure that when they land on your page, it is set up to draw them in, to either get them to your website, get them to follow you, so your Instagram is a marketing tool. And in the second unit, we'll talk about creative content. Once they're there, we want to keep serving awesome photos, peeks into your business and at your products, whatever the road that you take is when it comes to creating content. And we won't just talk about ideas, we'll talk about ways to continue to find ideas and how to continue to make up your own sort of take on posting photos on Instagram. In Unit 3, we'll be talking about engaging and building your community. So we've got them there, we want to get them to stick around, and we want to continue to grow. So we'll talk about ways to do that creatively and uniquely. And in the last unit, we'll talk about the do's and don'ts of Instagrams, the must-have photo apps, some great third-party applications that we can use to really make the most of it and make sure we're using the platform to its fullest advantage. So in the first unit, like I said, we want to make sure the profile is completed and done tactfully and purposefully. We'll also discuss the basic functions of Instagram. So when it comes to posting and interacting, and there are very basic settings on Instagram that we'll make sure are all set up to your liking, especially when it comes to people tagging you in photos. Will they show up on your profile in the tab for that, or will you have to make sure that you approve each one? Those are things that we'll get into and make sure that they're set up just the way you like them. When it comes to photo editing on Instagram, recently there was an addition within the last few months that now allows you to really edit photos a lot. It's not only adding a photo and adding a filter. Now you can change the brightness, the saturation, the contrast. There's a lot that can be edited. And while I don't find it to be the best editing software for your phone, when it comes to photos, I do recommend it for a few things. If you need to brighten a photo or something simple like that, it's definitely a nice addition. And we'll also create a plan in alignment with your other marketing goals. So like I said, I would not solely use Instagram as a digital marketing tool, but in addition to Facebook and Twitter, whatever else you may have set up, it certainly can be a great asset and help you reach a market that you may not have on your other platforms. We're definitely going to dive into taking quality photos on a budget. I just recently got more than a camera phone. I've been using my iPhone for years, and it's gotten me so far. So if you do have a smartphone, I will certainly have a lot on iPhone apps, but also I have some great tips and apps for Samsung devices, and we'll talk about just things that you can do even if you don't have a smartphone, if you're using a maybe a lower quality digital camera, or if you're just starting to put photos together. We're going to talk about a lot of things, especially these bullet points on the bottom here, how big of a difference you can make in a photo with alignment, planning, focus, the lighting, and just a smidge of editing if it's not something that you want to spend a lot of time on. So this was just a quick photo we took a couple weeks ago at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and I don't know if you can really see here, but between the spires of the castle I just added a little bit of sparkles coming out of the wand. So and it actually looked much different when we took the photo. It was darker, and so I brightened it up and I saturated some of the colors. So I certainly got a lot of engagement on this photo, definitely because of the content, but also because I was able to tone the photo and change it to look much nicer than it was when I originally took it. And I know from past experience that just putting that little bit of extra effort in, and making sure that the photo looks presentable can really make a difference when it comes to what your followers want to see. So when it comes to creative content, it can get overwhelming thinking about what you are going to post every day. Instagram is a platform that I would suggest posting on at least once a day, possibly 3 to 5 times a week minimum. And that can be a lot. If you're posting every day 7 photos a week, what are you going to post? You certainly don't want to just post pictures of your products unless you're making just a conscious choice to do that. But I don't think it's as successful as of a choice as even some of the bigger corporations and bigger businesses. They are doing this great thing where they're using Instagram sort of as a whole tool, entertaining and informing a lifestyle. So the people that are buying their product, what are they into? What do they want to see besides the product? So it gives you a lot more to choose from when it comes to posting photos. So some of the things that I've seen from smaller businesses, bigger businesses, even individuals who have Instagram accounts that they're using as part of their their representation online. Seeing behind the scenes photos, so seeing things being built or produced or ingredients where they come from, and certainly seeing the products in use is a wonderful thing to share, especially when it comes to style, style bloggers and maybe home decor, different kinds of things like that. Certainly it makes all the difference to see them, in the box or on the rack or in a home or on a person. So photo challenges are a really unique way to create content, and we're going to certainly dive into that. There's a lot to cover on that, but it basically it can be done a few different ways. I personally have a photo challenge that I do where I deliver a monthly prompt, and there's a hashtag that's associated with it. And people that follow me or people that don't follow me and just like Disney and or whatever the photo challenge happens to be about, they participate and post a photo each day based upon the prompt. So I typically get a return when I am first starting a new photo challenge. So at the beginning of each month, I have a new prompt going out for most photo challenges that I do, and people repost it sort of to say that they're participating and to show their followers that they're participating and what all these photos that they're going to be posting for the next month are pertaining to. So I usually make an image that has my name on it and the hashtag, so it's sort of a brand awareness technique as well as celebrating the content that my brand is about, and it certainly gets more people engaged and talking, and it's a great way to build community. There's a lot more that we'll cover on that. Also service benefits, so if you're not selling a product, but if you perform a service in your business, sharing before and after pictures are a wonderful way to come up with content. Also featuring customers, so I used to share photos that were my favorites that people had put into the photo challenge hashtag. So this is free, it takes a few seconds, and it can really make someone just feel like absolute gold. I mean, you featured this photo that they have shared with you, and you're celebrating them and shining a light on them, which who doesn't love that? I mean, so we'll certainly talk about other things with creative content like contests and quotes and sharing facts, and I have some great apps with for the iPhone and for Droids for coming up with some visuals that are text-based. We're going to cover some great case studies. This is one of my personal favorites. This is a friend of mine, and from the moment she started this business, I was thrilled to know her, and I was so happy for her. So she started not too long ago. This was an effort of this year, and she's doing pretty good. It's certainly a side business still, but she's growing tremendously, and I'm really happy for her. So as she goes along, she's sharing all the things that we talked about. This photo of a cat is a customer feature that someone had put into her hashtag. She has a picture of a quote here. And the thing that I absolutely love about Once Upon a Charm is that she primarily functions from her smartphone. So all these photos that you see are, I would say, almost all from a phone. Even this one on the top left, 25% off your entire purchase, she certainly made from photo apps on her phone. So she's functioning this business from her pocket, and she has a nice following started here. She has great engagement, and she has been posting regularly. She's doing everything right, and I love following her and just seeing what's next from a customer standpoint, and also just from somebody that really loves social media marketing. So we'll have a lot more to cover there. When it comes to engaging and building your community, we talked about hashtags a lot, but we'll also talk about starting your own. So aside from photo challenges or sharing hashtags that are general, that you're trying to get your photos seen by people who may be looking at photos and hashtags, we'll talk about starting your own and ways to do that, and participating in others' hashtags, and like I said, featuring customers and celebrating them. It's going to make them feel great, and it's content for you. It's not something I would do all the time, but certainly even weekly would be fun and interesting. So it is more than posting photos. Talk to people, comment on their photos, and ask questions. It seems like that is kind of Instagram engagement just in a nutshell. Social media marketing really is a conversation, and it's a two-way street. So just as you want people to be liking your photos and following you and commenting on your photos, interested in your business and your product, you certainly want to make your rounds and show excitement for others' accounts and photos and projects. And this really can be done in a small amount of time. So if you posted once a day and then maybe went back in the afternoon to check engagement, if this was another something that you're taking on for your digital marketing plan and you're scared that it will be too much time, you really can do it minimally and still do all of these things. You just have to get organized about it and make some goals and apply yourself, and I promise it won't be too overwhelming. So also, when you're engaging and building your community, how do you fit into their lifestyle? So when it comes to measuring engagement, are you posting photos that they want to see, first of all, but are you posting when they're online? For example, maybe like you have a surf blog, okay, let's say a surf blog, and I'm making this up because I know nothing about surfing, but if they're catching waves in the morning and you're posting in the morning, maybe you post a super early post because you know that people are going to be up to catch early morning waves, sort of planning into their lifestyle, your products and your business. And keep it positive. I know that some people, whether it may be blogs or businesses like that have products and services, it's rare that people do sort of take a negative or a snarky spin. It definitely does happen, and that's kind of their thing. But aside from that, I definitely recommend staying positive and celebrating something together, because I've found that relationships, especially ones built online, have a strong foundation from bonding over something that's they have a mutual affection for. So I certainly recommend keeping it positive, celebrating things, not highlighting negative or controversial topics. And like we said, treat others as you want to be treated. Like, comment, showcase people's photos that are relevant. Even if it's just shouting out another business, maybe it's a product that complements yours or something that you personally like that you think that your audience would like too. And certainly all these factors differ coming from the voice that you're choosing to use, which is something that we'll also talk about in the class. I wanted to share with you just an image of an effective giveaway method that I use. And I actually just went to Disneyland a couple weeks ago and it was super fun. Yay! But when I was there, I thought, you know, I want to do some sort of giveaway while I'm here. I was a little under budget and I thought instead of buying myself things, I'm going to just put a little money into my business. I'm going to buy an extra one of these bracelets and I'm going to do an Instagram giveaway. So there was a lot more thought behind it than that. My highest engaged photos on Instagram are of these bracelets, which I will show you in a couple slides. But these are Disney-themed Alex and Annie bracelets, and people absolutely love them. So people also that follow me love Disney, and if they follow me, they probably like me, and they like sparkly things. This is a perfect representation of my brand. So I gave this away purposefully because I knew that I had had high engagement with photos of this in the past, and I gained a little over 300 followers in less than 24 hours. So, you know, that's a pretty extreme circumstance because I already had, you know, over 4,700 followers at the time, but it was a way for me to sort of give back and to celebrate something that we all like, and it was, you know, a little bit of a cost. These are about $40, but it was something that I decided to do, and I got a great return on it. So it's not all about just having the big following. It's, are these people interested in what you're doing? Are they interested in the blog? Are they interested in my Etsy shop and everything that I'm trying to do with my business? And I felt that this type of product certainly did attract the type of people that I think would be interested in my blog and interested in my shop. So when you see people giving away iPads online, it's certainly a draw, but is it relevant to their business? Are they just getting people that like free iPads, or are they getting people that are going to stick around and actually be interested in their content or their products? So we'll definitely dive into this more. There are a few details, these bullet points on the bottom here, that I suggest having, and I definitely don't suggest this trend that I've seen kind of happening lately, doing giveaways on multiple social media platforms. It's hard to keep track of, and it doesn't seem, as somebody that would enter the giveaway, it seems confusing to me. So I really like it, keeping it on one platform, using the hashtag, randomly picking a winner from the hashtag, where all the photos and entries are kept. So we're also going to talk about do's and don'ts of Instagram and etiquette. So how many people should you follow? Is it okay to unfollow someone if they're just not your cup of tea anymore? Is it just silly to use too many hashtags? And I'll give you my personal opinion on that quickly. I like to use a lot of hashtags. I felt like when I first started on Instagram and it was just fun and friends and whatever, it was great. And then as I started using hashtags, I saw just tremendous growth regularly. So I decided that that was something I was always going to do. And so I try to use a lot of hashtags regularly, and I make sure that the photos that I'm putting into hashtags are relevant and matter, and I try to think out of the box a little bit. I use hashtags that are heavily populated and ones that maybe don't have as much, but I certainly researched them before, and I actually, this is one of my favorite tips, I actually in my phone have keyboard shortcuts for sets of hashtags that I like to use. So if I'm at Disney World posting photos of Disney, I have a hashtag set for each park, and all I have to do is type in a couple letters and 20 hashtags will pop up. So I will also add I'll add some hashtags here and there for things that are relevant, and sometimes I'll take them away. And sometimes I just am posting a photo for the people that already follow me. So, but I have found a great return on hashtags. We're also going to talk about iconosquare.com, which is formerly Statagram. I really like this website. It's great for statistics and keeping up with what's going on with your engagement on Instagram. And two of my favorite apps for editing photos are Squareready and Snapseed. Squareready basically allows you to take any photo of any shape and put it in the shape of a square, so it's Instagram ready for you. And Snapseed is a great photo that's free. It's made by Google, and it allows you to edit your photo in any possible way. So you can do anything from the actual color, brightness, saturation, to cropping the photo, to using tilt shift, and just there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot. For a free app, it's a really great tool. So we'll definitely dive into those and some other apps for adding text. And let's move on. So this is Iconosquare, and like I said earlier, this was a technique that I used to decide, that it was going to be worth it for me to give away one of these bracelets. My highest engagement ever is 717 likes on this stock photo that I used, but I credited the source from Disney. So people certainly like them. I mean, it's much more than my second liked photo. And then there's also another photo of these bracelets in my top likes. So I used my data to then move forward with choices that I was making for my account in the future, which is a really smart choice, and I encourage you to do that. So thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Nicole. As mentioned in the question box, if you have any questions at all, feel free to let us know, and we'd be happy to answer those for you. In addition, we will be archiving this webinar and emailing it to you, so you will have Nicole's contact information, and you're welcome to email her. If you are interested in signing up for the Instagram for Business class, please contact the organization through which you learned of the webinar. It doesn't look like we have any questions right now, but we'll wait another few moments. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And of course, thank you, Nicole, for presenting the webinar. Thanks so much. Have a nice afternoon.
Thanks, Leslie.